from a conference, so I try to find a private corner. But if you see someone coming up and kind of talking to me, that's why, because I'm in the middle of a conference and I know that these are scheduled, so I wanted to stick to our schedule. When I'm doing these lives, feel free to send me questions. Just put it in the chat. If I cannot get through these questions during today's session, then what we'll do is I'm going to kind of go through all the questions at the end or throughout the week, and I will address them during the next live session. So please do send me your questions also throughout the week. If you have any questions about the EB-5 program or kind of what's going on today in the immigration world, feel free to send me questions that you want me to address, and I will be addressing them during my weekly live sessions. So thank you guys for being here. And again, we have a live chat. I see some kind of emojis coming through, but definitely be active. So today I wanted to talk about the announcement that came out a little more than a week ago. There is a ban on immigrant visas for 75 countries. So President Trump issued a ban on issuing immigrant visas for 75 countries. Some of the notable larger countries that I work with are Brazil, Russia, Colombia, and they're on that list. So a lot of people have asked me, does this impact EB-5 investors? It may, right? So if this is not an outright ban, you're not allowed to receive an immigrant visa. The ban is very specific, and it says that it's temporary on the actual immigrant visa issuance in order to allow immigration to implement procedures to vet the candidates better and to prevent giving green cards to candidates who are likely to become public charge. What that basically means is they want to do financial vetting on the immigrants receiving the green cards so that they can eliminate those people who are likely going to be applying for government aid once they have their green card. Needless to say, this doesn't apply to most EB-5 investors. EB-5 investors by nature do have more means than an average person. They're able to make a substantial investment into the project. So I think once these procedures are implemented and the immigrant visa process is reestablished again and those visas are going to be released again, I think the EB-5 investors are not going to have a difficult time meeting these requirements, right? So again, it's a temporary stop in order to allow the government to have an additional procedure to vet individuals, their financial abilities in order to prevent people from applying for government aid once they're here in the US. I also would like to know that to immigration attorneys, this is actually not new. I should have a disclaimer, I'm not giving legal advice during this session. So for each individual situation, you should still be explaining your situation to an immigration attorney and obtaining legal advice. But this is general information. When President Trump was in the office last time, during the initial Trump administration, they established a similar procedure, and it was a public charge form. So, and it applied to everybody, not just the 75 countries, but every country, every immigrant had to submit an additional form with an additional fee where they disclosed their financials. And that form was supposed to be used again to improve this system of vetting and try to eliminate giving green cards to people who are likely going to become a public charge in the United States. This form was abandoned under the Biden administration. Between you and I think the idea is nice, but the implementation of that idea didn't really work. The type of information that they were requesting was really not helping make that decision. So it was abandoned under the Biden administration. And it seems like right now under this administration, they're trying to implement a similar procedure once more. Under the last time when we did have this public charge form that was mandatory, it did not prevent people from, the majority of people, from obtaining green cards, and it certainly didn't negatively impact my EB-5 investors. You know, they were able to fill out this additional form, and they were still granted their green cards because they could meet the basic requirements and show ability to sustain themselves in the US. So, in summary, this is supposed to be a temporary stop, and we are going to see, you know, we're going to revisit this topic again once all the procedures are put in place, and we'll talk about how it may or may not impact EB-5 applicants. Okay. Also, I should note that it does not stop an individual from filing. So this is just for the actual issuance of the immigrant visa, which happens on average about a year to a year and a half after you start the process. So first you pick a project, you invest, you file your I-526 petition, that petition has to be approved, and then you go into the step where you're getting the immigrant visa. So that particular step right now is on pause, but all the other steps you can still take. So you can still file your I-526 petition, and there's nothing that says you cannot file an adjustment. So individuals from Brazil and Russia who are here in the United States can still file the I-526 and file the adjustment. But once that petition is approved and before their immigrant visa / green card can be issued, that's the step that's right now on hold. We have a question, you know, whether I know if the suspension has actually been implemented. I believe the 21st was yesterday. I've heard that consulates were starting to send out interview cancellations. For those who already had immigrant visas scheduled, they're starting to send out notices to reschedule them because they will not be able to issue those visas at the time. But we'll know more because this was only supposed to take effect yesterday. So again, I don't want to predict the future by any means, but this is similar to what we have seen in the past, and we just need to kind of wait it out and see what happens. But the adjustment of status is still available. Also, filing the petition and waiting and seeing what's going to come to fruition is also an option. All right, do we have any other questions? If not, there are a couple more things that I wanted to cover today, which I'm at this EB-5 conference, which has been okay. Excellent question, and thank you, Vitaly, for being an active audience member. Vitaly actually is an industry expert, and he works on the regional center side and is a really knowledgeable person himself. So thank you for participating, Vitaly. Have I heard any litigation to be filed? Funny enough, I was just with Ira Kurzban and John Pratt, who are some of the biggest litigators in the country. We didn't specifically discuss this topic, but I will, if I see them again before I leave, I will ask them if they have anything coming up. I am sure that if the pause lasts for more than a few weeks, there is going to be possibly some litigation filed, right? Because those individuals who filed their petitions, especially in the EB-5 category, and have met the requirement, they've done their part, right? They've made the investment, filed this petition. So not making this benefit available to them would violate, I think, some due process and some of their rights. So I think if the pause lasts for more than a few weeks and becomes something that can be considered damaging, there might be litigation. I also did hear, that there unfortunately already had a negative impact on some individuals, like people who were scheduled to go and get their immigrant visas this week or next week, who are in a difficult health situation. So they thought they were going to get their immigrant visa, they were going to be able to fly to the United States and continue their medical treatment here. If they're not going to be able to do that, obviously it will have a pretty substantial impact on their family. So hopefully this is going to be resolved quicker, and there's going to be new procedures implemented quicker. Otherwise, I do expect cases like that will go to litigation because there's harm that they can show. All right, and on a positive note, we are seeing, the industry has been very busy. EB-5 has been a solution this year and last year in 2025 for a lot of individuals who now see that other visa categories are either backlogged, so EB-1, EB-2, and EB-3 are either backlogged for them, or they don't qualify for those categories. So EB-5 has been a solution for a lot of individuals, and as a result, we're seeing heightened demand. I'm also happy to report that USCIS has been doing a really good job adjudicating, especially petitions filed in rural projects, average between 6 and 8 months, and longer for the ones that filed in urban. But as a result, we're seeing a lot of projects coming out in rural areas. And I'm pleased to see that they're quite competitive. In some of those projects, EB-5 investors are in the first lien position. In some, they're in the second lien. There's a lot of developer equity. And some of these projects are, well on the way. So they've already started construction and are maybe 30% completed. So we do have a lot of options now to choose from, and that's been wonderful. All right. So other than kind of processing times in this 75 country ban, I don't have too many forefront concerns today. Again, just want to have a disclaimer that, and with each individual need, you should discuss with your immigration attorneys. The 75 country temporary ban can affect EB-5 investors, those who are at the stage of getting their immigrant visa, but those who are just starting the process now can still either file or do the adjustment, and then you guys can decide if it's the right thing for you to do. And if you guys need any help, please reach out. I'm also happy to report that I just got an award. So some of you know that when I was a practicing attorney, I have received a top 25 attorney award a few years, on a number of different occasions. But I've been a FINRA licensed broker for the past 5 years now, representing investors and placing them into projects. And today I received my first award as a broker. It was based on an industry poll, and it was, the industry poll and the awards are done by EB-5 Investors Magazine. So this was a pleasant recognition of top 5 brokers in the country. So, all right, send me your questions and your comments, and I look forward to seeing you guys all on my next live session next Friday.